Welcome to Unscripted with
Aditi.
and Haley, where we take you behind the scenes of our acting journeys.
And today we're going to be talking all things networking, building connections, creating a community, and finding actors, writers, and filmmakers. And we're going to be talking about our journeys and, how we've dealt with those kinds of situations. So, yeah.
Yeah. Um, so like with acting, I feel like I feel like this is kind of maybe true for any person who's young and knows what they want to do. It can be really isolating because you feel like people your age don't necessarily relate to you or have the same passions and ambitions as you. Um, and we're very lucky to have found each other, but it definitely took a really, really long time to be able to have like a solid person to be in a community. And a community doesn't have to be huge either. Like it doesn't have to
Yeah,
be 10, 20 people. It can be you and one other person. And that's plenty.
literally. I agree. I feel like I think I'm the only like TV and film actor in like my school and amongst my friends. So it feels very isolating, especially like in the beginning when I started out and I told people like, yeah, I'm doing acting. Like this is my passion. This is what I want to do. And obviously, like I would get like looks and be like, oh, and people would be like, are you sure? Like, don't you have like, do you have a backup plan? Anything more like stable? And I'm like, I'm saying like I'm gonna do business and stuff, but my heart's and
And
in doing film and TV and acting. So I think it's hard when you're in high school and like everyone around you is doing all these different like career paths that are considered, to be more stable or
more
whatnot.
regular.
Um, but I think what I've learned throughout the years is to not dim your light. If you're passionate about something, speak about it. You shouldn't feel uncomfortable because of, your passions and what you love. So, definitely like just regardless of what anyone else thinks, like sometimes I felt like my worth was kind of defined by what I was doing. And I felt like maybe my line of or like what job I'm doing does not necessarily measure up to like the career paths that my friends are taking on. But that is completely not the case because what we're doing is so important. We're creating these characters and doing these films to and giving them out to the audience to, maybe like change their perspective and change their lives, and I think that's really important. So remembering why you're doing this and just not dimming your light is very, very important. Um and
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, and like with that being said, like of course, we both know that like being a doctor is obviously a very, very important job and probably a little bit more important than being an actor, but that doesn't mean that our job is any less because we're actors and not doctors.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like just like you could use that as like an example too, because like neither one of us would also thrive in that industry, so you don't want us as doctors. Trust. You don't want us near anything um other than acting. That's why it's gonna work. But I think finding a community also is really good because like I've had a lot of questions about things like, agents and managers and like payment and stuff that isn't talked about in, some Facebook groups and stuff like that because it's just not things that are super public. And I've been able to go to Aditi and ask her. Or I've been able to go to my other acting friends and ask them and be like, hey, do you know how this works? Can you help me with this? And I think that's really important because there's a lot of things that aren't talked about on social media. There's a lot that we don't even talk about on this podcast. There's a lot of things that work different from agent to agent, manager to manager. Depending on like what kind of TV you're in, whether it's a network show or a streaming show, depending on what kind of movie you're in. Again, like if it's gonna go on cable or if it's on a streaming platform or if it's gonna be in the theaters and then go to a streaming platform, like there's so many different ways that things work. And I think it's so important to know people from different backgrounds because whenever you're experiencing it for the first time, sometimes it's really hard to ask like these big executives and like all these big people these questions. So it's really nice to have people that you know that you can trust that you can go to and confide in for answers. But I feel like, people are always like, how do you find this community? And that's kind of what we're gonna dive into today.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like the film industry, there's so much to it. and like it's almost like never ending. I mean, you don't have to know everything, but especially like as a new actor, your mind's kind of running like, what do I need to know? What should I do? And what should I watch out for? Like red flags and whatever. I think for me, Facebook groups were kind of like the initial kind of way that I made my way into the industry and how I began to understand stuff. Like, because like these Facebook groups had like coaches and managers and agents, and they had a lot of information that I could rely on and trust. So definitely Facebook groups if you're starting out, and from like beyond that, acting classes, finding acting coaches and acting classes that are like reputable and that you can trust. Haley was talking about this in another podcast where it's like your coach should not see you as competition or should not bully you. They should be uplifting you, but at the same time, giving you good feedback. So finding that kind of acting class, that kind of community, because for both of us, like with our coach and the classes that we take, we have an amazing community of actors. And whenever we
Absolutely.
do like our online Zoom classes, there's people from all across the country and from all different backgrounds and stuff. So definitely that, like, that's a great community. And the thing is, like, we like I've reached out to the people in our class a couple of times in the beginning when I was confused about stuff, and whenever I'm confused about something, I ask Haley and she asks me, and just finding people is really great. And honestly, like, social media, like, literally, like, find actors on social media, connect with them, like, it works, it
We
helps. And
literally
reach out, do whatever you can. I think for me, like, when I was like 12 or something, I found a bunch of actors on like my age on social media, and I asked them, about how to, like, just a lot of different questions that a new actor would probably have. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the social media thing. We have a special guest coming on later this week who we found through social media, and I think that's the thing is don't be scared to reach out to people because here's the thing that I'm going to say really fast is don't be scared to reach out to people. Of course, you're probably not going to be able to reach out to like Zendaya or Anne Hathaway and get a response. Maybe you will. But like reach out to those actors with a few hundred followers. Reach out to the actors with a few thousand followers. Reach out to the actors even with a few 100,000 followers and just ask because a lot of them are willing to help. A lot of them want to give advice. And if they are genuinely in this for the craft and not the fame and not the money, then they will take the time to answer your questions. It might take them like a week or two or a couple of days or a couple of hours to get back to you because, they're busy. This industry is fast paced, always moving. But I know, like, even if you DM'd us on any of our social medias, which again, if you're watching this from YouTube, they're all linked. I don't think we can do that from Spotify. But yeah, so if you're watching this from YouTube, all of our social medias are linked. Go to our comment section on TikTok. Go to our comment section on Instagram. DM us on Instagram. DM us on TikTok. I will make sure after we film this episode that all of our like things are open so you're able to DM us even if you don't follow us. Like you don't have to follow us. We just want to help you, start your career or maybe you're in your career and you want some questions to answer. But I think it's really important to just reach out to people because you might be surprised about the friendship that you might have. Like I remember like we were both like whenever we first met we were like both a little bit shy and kind of scared of each other and like it can be scary, it can be intimidating talking to other people because it's like oh my gosh like but once you just kind of let go and you realize that these people are here to help you and these people are also so genuinely interested in the craft, then you realize that like people just want to make connections because part of the industry really is connections
Yeah.
and it's really important to make sure that you're making those.
We have our official TikTok account, and the amount of like new actors, all different kinds of actors that I found on TikTok, and like everyone is literally mutuals with one another. Like it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
everyone has their like own like TikTok community of like young actors, filmmakers, writers. Like everyone is in it together, you know?
They're all like working together. I just want to add that like they're all working together. Like people that have podcasts are putting their actors on their podcasts. The people that are making short films are putting the actors in their short films. And then again, the actors are, being in these small directors that need people for their new films. Like it's all just a community and everybody wants to work together.
Exactly, exactly. And a lot of times, like on TikTok, people will be like, hey, I'm doing this short film. We're looking for actors. Of course, like make sure that it is real and safe and genuine. But, you can apply for those because there's so many people that are making short films that are always looking for actors. So there's
Absolutely.
so many opportunities, so much help that you can get off of TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Like it is truly really helpful. Yeah, it's amazing.
I think, yeah, the community on social media is very big and very supportive too. Because I feel like once you're kind of mutuals with someone, like you just like you comment on each other's posts, which also helps with like engagement and reaching a bigger audience. And then, kind of just like I was saying, like everybody kind of works for each other and with each other. And it's so nice because I feel like when you're in any industry, especially as someone who's young and you don't have a lot of experience, it can feel very, very scary and like you're out of place. And like, there's of course the people that are older than you who kind of belittle you and stuff. And so I feel like it's just really nice to have like this new generation that's very accepting of each other and very like I see so many directors and producers out there who are like, we're casting for our short film and we're letting, people with no experience be the lead in our short film. And I think that's so amazing because they're taking chances on these, people who don't have as much experience, who have the passion and have the talent, but they just can't figure out quite how to get their name out there. And I think by giving them that opportunity, that is what the film industry is about. And
Yeah.
that is what it should be about. It shouldn't be about who has the bigger name, who has the most amount of followers, who's going to bring in the most box office money. And I get it that these companies, these large companies, are at the end of the day companies and they do need to make money to be able to pay everybody, to be able to afford to produce these beautiful films. But I think there's something so special about like an independent film
Yeah.
that is so beautiful. So if you can, definitely go support indie films, go watch them, go like and comment on their posts. I know they do some crowdfunding sometimes, so if you can, give money. Um, yeah, I think it's so important to just give back to the indie film community and help them flourish because I think that's how so many people start out.
Yeah.
Um, and that's how so many people are able to have the careers that they have is from building these small communities into something bigger. And so I think it's really important that instead of focusing on, oh, I want to be in Marvel, oh, I want to be in, all this stuff, that yes, that's important, but also don't ever turn down little things and don't belittle smaller projects because those smaller projects are just as important as those big box office films.
Yeah.
And they're so genuine and there's so much love and care and community in them.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, they may not be, produced by big studios or anything, but that doesn't make them any less. I think that I've watched short films and indie films that are truly incredible. And I think that if you're in it for the right reasons, you just want to create and finding people who want to do that with you, create with you, explore their passion with you. It's great, and I think TikTok and Facebook and social media has really really helped kind of give everyone a platform to find people, to network, and to give other people opportunities. And I think I want to talk about this because when I first started out, I think this was a great way for me to kind of gain exposure and see like industry professionals firsthand. What I did was workshops. I think workshops, good ones, through good like acting
So
classes, yeah, through acting studios. I did one with like casting. I did a couple with casting directors, and I think
yeah.
doing that, like, I wasn't expecting anything out of it. I wasn't like expecting like, hey, put me on Disney Channel or any. I wasn't expecting that. For me, it was kind of like I was there to see kind of how it works and how, because like as a new actor, I like didn't have the agents or experience or anything, and in those workshops, I met people who were more, they had those credits and they had the agent and they had more experience. And I kind of learned a lot from them. I learned a lot from the casting directors because they gave a lot of great raw knowledge that really, really helped me. And yeah, I think doing workshops with casting directors and there's agents and managers that also do them. I think that is a great way for you to, I guess, network and understand how these industry professionals think and work and how they can help you through those workshops. Again, like nothing, like don't go into workshops thinking that you're going to get a job, you're going to get hired
Yeah.
or get an agent or anything. Just be there purely for the learning experience. Because that's what they're for. And, maybe there's rare occasions where they do really like you and maybe they'll give you their email or anything like that because I've seen that happen before. But again, like, don't have any expectations, just purely be there for learning experience. And again, like, through acting classes, through workshops, there's people that you can reach out with. If you're set up with like a scene partner, reach out to them, connect with them, take those opportunities, like never shy away because that will cost you a lot. And, just being the best actor that you can is very, very important.
Yeah, I think also I just kind of want to like talk about the workshops, and I feel like this is like a little bit unrelated. But another thing that workshops do, especially if they're like big ones with like casting directors, where and big ones I mean just like a lot of people are in them, it really helps you with in-person callbacks whenever you get to the point in your career where you're having like producer sessions and you're in a Zoom call with a bunch of producers because it's so different than like being in person and it's like they're all sitting right there, so it's like you can see them. But on Zoom, it's like they all have their cameras off. There's like 15 of them. And it can get so intimidating because it's like the executive of HBO is like right there and it's scary. So I think doing those workshops also kind of desensitizes you to performing in front of, 20 people, camera off, and just not caring and being present because you also have the casting director that's there. And, you're wanting to impress them, not because you're going to book something from it, but, just wanting to impress them so that, maybe one day you'll get set an audition that's in their casting office and they'll remember you.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's what you should go in with the goal to do is one day when you get called into their casting office, you want them to remember you from that workshop as amazing, but don't expect to get hired from the workshop because they're just there to give you like critiques and stuff like that. Um, yeah. And also, I think one thing that is so nice about doing those workshops and stuff is everybody in them is also so supportive and they have your back. And I think that's the other thing too, is I feel like a lot of times it can get really scary because you feel like they don't have your back and they want you to fail. But I think a lot of times people don't realize is actors don't want to make fun of other actors. Most actors, okay? A lot of actors don't want other actors to forget a line. Actors don't want fellow actors to completely mess up and fumble. Actors don't want other actors to get nervous and freak out and have a whole panic attack on a Zoom call with a casting director and an acting coach and a bunch of people watching. Actors, good actors, should want other actors to succeed. And if you can find a room in a community where you feel that really, really great energy, it's a win. Even if they don't become your friends from it, it's a win. Being in any room where the people are supportive and the energy is supportive is amazing. And I think once you kind of realize too that by doing those workshops with casting directors specifically that they want you to succeed, I think it also makes auditions a lot easier because it's like they don't want to tell you no. They don't want to tell thousands of people a day no because they're casting for life-changing things and they know that and they know how badly a lot of, especially if you're a teen and a child, they don't want to tell all these kids no and crush their dreams. So I think just understanding that at the end of the day, being a casting director, it is their job to unfortunately only pick one person for the role, but but just because that's a part of their job doesn't mean they want you to fail, and nobody wants you to fail. I
Yeah.
don't want you to fail. I want you to succeed.
Me too. Yeah.
I want you to
I
succeed.
think just like what you were talking about, like workshops are a great way to kind of get your face out there and um especially like as you grow, like people, like these casting directors will be like, oh, hey, like, I remember her, like, I did a workshop with her, and you'll be on the back of their minds. Same thing with Facebook groups. Like, I remember when I was in a Facebook group with like hundreds of agents and managers and coaches and whatnot, like people were posting their headshots, their reels, their experience, and everything, and they were getting recognized. And yeah, and I think just putting your like getting your face out there, getting like letting people know who you are, because that, I
Absolutely.
feel like, especially in the beginning, that is very important. Having you don't have to have social media, but having a social media presence kind of does help, like to again like build that community. Doing workshops, classes, getting your face out there amongst other actors, coaches, agents, and managers, casting directors, and just like there's not much you can do if you don't put in the effort to, I guess, make yourself like be known. Like, I'm
Nope.
not saying to, reach out to a bunch of casting directors or agents or managers. Do not do that. That is like the number
Especially
one
if they
thing.
say don't unsolicitedly reach out to me, please don't do that.
Exactly.
You're
That
done
is
being blacklisted.
very, very bad. Don't do that. But what I'm saying is just putting your face out there through Facebook
Yeah.
groups, social media, workshops, and
Us
yeah.
Yeah, like I always love to see and I always like will try and follow them and stuff. Like all the actors who are always like posting to like the sounds and they're like acting out the sounds and they're like any tips and stuff like that. Like I love that.
Huh.
They're like day one of trying to act and I think that's so amazing because it really shows how serious and committed they are to their journey and they post every single day and it's just them acting to an audio and a lot of people have gotten noticed and casted in films from that or called in to,
Yeah.
you know, audition for things or gotten agents and managers because agents and managers are on social media, guys. Um,
Yeah.
they are, and they're watching, and they're seeing all of these talented people. So even if you don't, get casted from doing social media, you can most definitely. And I'm saying this, nothing's guaranteed, and everybody's journey is different. I think if I had gone the social media route to find an agent, it probably wouldn't have worked for me. So I think doing it the way that I did it worked for me. But maybe if you are somebody that is dedicated and maybe has a little bit of a larger following already or is like working on building one and you're having consistent um like viewers and stuff like that, I think that's such an amazing way to like start a TikTok account, lip sync to audios, write your own monologues and read those out. um and I think that really shows how committed you are and it puts it all in an account and they can see, and then also you're building a social media presence. And I think that's really good. I think that's really creative. And I think it's so interesting too to just even click on the audio and like see all the different ways that people do it. And I think that's one of the things that I think is really gets really hard to remember. Um, is everybody's tape is gonna come out different. And you have to remember that sometimes they're just looking for something so specific whenever they're searching, and it not being you doesn't mean that you did it wrong. Because I think I was in that mindset for a really long time and it was really hard to break out of where I felt like I was doing my self tapes wrong. And it wasn't that I was doing my self tapes wrong, it was that I was too focused on thinking I was doing them wrong that I wasn't letting go of everything and I wasn't being present in the moment. And the second that I just realized there's no wrong way to do a self tape, you just have to make a choice and be confident in it. Callbacks, like every like callbacks, producer sessions, all this stuff. And I think that's also something to celebrate. And I think a lot of people don't do that, is they don't celebrate the little wins. And I saw a TikTok the other day. Sorry, I'm sorry, like I switched to social media, but I saw this TikTok the other day and I thought everybody in the comments was so amazing except for like the two haters. And I'll tell you what the TikTok was about. It was like this girl and she's like all these things I've auditioned for going back to 2022. And it was like all these big projects. She talked about how she auditioned for like the Life with the
The
Walter
Walter.
Boys. Yes, she was a bunch of different shows that she had auditioned for, okay? And everybody in the comments was like, oh my gosh, your agent popped off. This is so cool. Who's your agent? Like, you're getting to audition for all these big things. And that really put into perspective for me, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky to be going out
Yeah.
for some of these things. And I think that's just one thing. Celebrate, if you have an agent, maybe you only go out for one project a month. Celebrate that. Celebrate that one Netflix audition that you get a month. Celebrate having the agent. Celebrate having the manager. Celebrate all of that. And I think once you're able to do that and once you're able to be grateful for the small things, the big things will come.
Yeah, 1000%. I think gratitude takes you a very long way. My parents have talked about this, like being grateful kind of just brings in more opportunities for you because you're not in that energy of like, ugh, like why am I not, like why is this happening? Why am I not getting this? Like I hate
Yeah.
everything, like I need this, whatever. Like if you're just in the mindset of like things will happen at the right time, like for now I am grateful to be where I am, I am lucky to be where I am. But being grateful is takes you a very long way, and I think if you're auditioning consistently, be grateful for that, and having the opportunity to present yourself in front of these different casting directors, and having, you know, whether if you have an agent, like be grateful for that because a lot of people don't. And just think of like auditioning as like a space where you get to present your talent and your skills to these amazing casting directors, and don't take it as if like, oh, I need, like every single audition you get, like I need to get this, I need to get this. Like don't think like that, because that is just gonna like get in your head and mess. Yeah, I've had that, and I was not in a good mental state when I was genuinely thinking like, why am I not getting, like don't get too attached
Yeah.
to your auditions, because like a lot of times like nothing, you get a lot of no's, and that is okay because you know one day you're going to get that yes. But
Yes.
auditioning is a long process. Like it takes time, it takes effort, and I know that sometimes it can be like why am I not getting this, why I've been working for so long, whatever. Everyone's journeys are going to be different. Some people are going to get, you know, jobs earlier on, later, and some people are going to get them later on. But just being grateful that you even have the opportunity to audition, to, you know, be able to present yourself to, again, casting directors and whatever. Yeah, I think just being grateful and having that positive energy is takes you a long way. And honestly, like it shows in auditions too. Like if you're genuinely like, if you're not in a great mindset in your audition, like you're thinking about like I have to get this, I have to get, like that'll show because you're not truly being as
In the character.
truthful to your character as you can. So again, just being grateful, having being graceful, and you know, being thankful is very, very important. And I wanted to kind of touch on this because this is kind of how I kind of got my start. I did showcases. Like I did one showcase, and that's how I got like my very first official representation. There's again like there are going to be acting studios that are not like not good, not reputable. Don't do showcases with them. But there's also going to be ones that are really good, and I'm grateful that I found that acting studio, and you know, did the showcase. So showcases are another way if you have credits or if you don't have credits. You can do showcases. Oftentimes they'll have like 10 to 15 agents and managers on there, and a lot of times if they like you, they will, you know, send you an email, and that is a great way, because I know cold submitting to agents and managers is like a lot of times they don't see them, and it's not always guaranteed, and sometimes they don't like to receive cold mailing and stuff. So
Yeah.
showcases really do help, and I
Yeah.
mean that's one thing that you can try, but you have to be kind of careful where you're
Careful.
looking.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I want to quickly talk about that because I feel like we do talk a lot about agents and red flags and stuff like that. And I think we did have a previous episode where we went into this, but I don't remember specifically talking about the few red flags. So, one thing to start, if you're looking to get an agent, and I kind of want to talk about this with our guests too, so I'm just gonna like briefly talk about it. If you
Yeah.
want to get an agent, make sure to look at their submissions page, and if it says referral only, even if you have a friend that's with that agency, do not without their consent, do not without their consent, send an email to them saying that you were referred by them. I think that's one thing, and then another thing is don't make up a referral. I one time had somebody say to like say that they were like a reputable referral, but they were definitely not. So, unless you know that the person that's giving you a referral has a actual connection with them, don't just be putting random like acting coaches or stuff like that
Yeah.
into the referral thing because that will look so bad for you. And then two or three, if you have to pay for anything up front, don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. You should pay for acting subscriptions like Actors Access and casting networks and stuff like that, but that is once you already have your representation and once you're at a certain point. Like I know I didn't start paying for premium Actors Access until maybe like a year ago. I want to say I think this is like my second year having premium Actors Access because you should at the start just pay per um like per time you put a headshot or a demo reel up. Yeah. So I'll just leave it at that.
Actually, I do want to add
Yeah, yeah.
something. Um, in this industry, you should not be lying. Do not lie on your
Yeah,
resume. Do not lie to
yeah,
agents. Do not lie to managers. That is the fastest way to get blacklisted. And,
absolutely.
that don't do that. That is very bad. That will get you nowhere. So just don't lie. Don't lie on anything
Yeah.
on Actors
Well,
Access.
also you will get on. I promise you. If you put that you are a celloist because you see that, Outer Banks needs a celloist for their new season, and you put that on your resume, you will get that audition and you will have to show them
Yeah.
your celloist experience. You will have to talk about it in great detail, and it will look so, so bad if you are not a celloist. And by the way, Outer Banks, I don't think is looking for a celloist. So that just
Yeah,
making up scenarios.
the
Please
same
don't.
thing goes for any sport, any like language, any musical talent,
Singing,
um,
yeah.
dancing, whatever. Like if you can't do it, don't put it on your resume. Learn it. Like go ahead and learn it. Take classes.
And then once
And
you
once
learn
you're good
it,
at them, once you're good at it, then put it on your resume. But don't just like out of nowhere put it on your resume because you that's bad,
absolutely.
really bad.
And if you do something, because I know I had an audition for something where I had to do the special skill and it wasn't on my resume or anything, but I went out for it anyway. And then I got a note back from my lovely manager and she like was like put that on your resume because you were really good at it. So I think, that's fine. And you will know when it needs to be on your resume, but
Yeah,
if you don't have 100% confidence, um, don't put it on there.
exactly.
Like, don't say that you can speak Spanish and then expect to Duolingo your way through it.
Exactly. Yeah. And oftentimes, like, if you're not the best at something on Actors Access, it will have like beginner,
A
intermediate,
beginner,
advanced. Like, if, like, put your level, like, say, like, you're a beginner ukulele player. Like, you can put that. That's fine.
yeah. Like,
Um,
I put beginner at ASL because I've taken ASL 1 and ASL 2 and then part of ASL 3 honors. But I'm definitely not anywhere close to fluent, but I put beginner on there. And I've had an audition where, and it wasn't for a deaf character, it was for um, the sibling of a deaf character. And I remember I had to do sign language for it, and it was really fun. But definitely don't, and I was able to do it, but definitely don't go putting stuff that you can't do on there. Yeah, so that's the moral of the story. Don't lie. Find a good community that's encouraging and not putting you down, and be aware of scams.
yes.
And with that, that's this episode.
Yeah. And if you guys have any questions, our socials are going to be in the description. Don't be like we said, don't be afraid, don't be intimidated to ask us any questions because we are here to help you. There's a lot of people
Yes.
here to help you, so yeah, just feel free
Yes.
to drop any questions.
Yes. And yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.